Detroit basketball is back. What if I told y'all that the Detroit Pistons have the best young core in the NBA? Yes, that's right. Not just in the East, I'm talking about the West too. Like if we go down the list of players on this roster, we got Cade Cunningham, Saddiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, who suddenly developed a jump shot. What the hell? Jaden Ivey, Mr. Ja 2.0. Marvin Bagley found a home in Motor City. They also drafted DUREN, aka Dwight Howard Jr., and they traded for Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel. For all my fellow Knicks fans, you know how important they were to us 2 years ago on that playoff run. Nerlens Noel was actually my favorite for Defensive Player of the Year back in 2021. If we keeping it 100, this might be the best offseason the Pistons had in about the last decade, bruh. And most importantly, Killian Hayes will no longer be a primary ball handler because that brother is ass. But before we get into that, welcome back to another video here with NBA Addict TV, where we provide the latest NBA content on the tube. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Now let's get straight to the video. So the last time the Pistons made the playoffs was in 2019, where the team was led by Blake Griffin, and in a 4-game playoff series they got packed up by Giannis. And would it be crazy to even say that Giannis ended Blake Griffin's career? Because brother Blake, he fell off. But I think the first steps in changing the direction for the Pistons was hiring Dwayne Casey as their head coach, who got fired from the Toronto Raptors right after winning Coach of the Year, just because he could never get past LeBron James in the playoffs. That's like you getting Employee of the Month but gets fired because y'all ran out of french fries to sell. Some things are just out of your control. But having an elite level coach like Casey will finally show this season and for many years to come, because Motor City, y'all got a squad in there, and I'm pretty fucking jealous that y'all got a better team than my Knicks, but that's another story for another video. So I think we can all agree that this team's offense will revolve around Cade Cunningham. After watching film, man, I'm excited to see the leap Cade takes next season. So Cade isn't incredibly fast or athletic, but his length and skill set makes him one of the most versatile players in the league. Cade is 6'8", 220 pounds, and has a 7-foot wingspan. He uses every inch to perfection. Whoa, pause. But Cade is an incredibly crafty ball handler. His hezzy is so believable. You don't know whether he's going to attack the rim, stop on a dime and pull up for a mid-range jumper, or bait you into sending help defense while he throws a dime to one of his teammates. Best believe he is a willing passer, and don't be surprised if Cade averages at least 8 or more assists next year with all his new weapons he got. Now I know his inefficiency is a red flag, but he is only 20 years old, so there's still a lot of room for growth for my boy. And the Pistons finally got themselves a point guard in Jaden Ivey, and I think he may be the most exciting player in this year's draft. He may quite literally be Ja Morant's clone, and that's okay, because from what I saw in Summer League, he may have that immediate impact on the Pistons that Ja Morant had on the Grizzlies. Ivey is going to give Cade the secondary ball handler that he needs to keep applying pressure on the defense. That pick and roll is going to be hell to guard. Ivey is a 6'4" guard that has the speed and athleticism that the Pistons have been looking for at that position. He is an incredibly dynamic combo guard that continues to put pressure on the rim, and he has the ability to be effective on offense whether he has the ball or not. With Cade being such a phenomenal passer, you will see a lot of Jaden Ivey dimes off of backdoor cuts. Now for one of my favorite players on this team, Saddiq Bey, Saddiq Trey. Let me just say that my boy played all 82 games this year. Guy's not built like that no more, but Saddiq Bey is one of my favorite 3-and-D plays, but that doesn't mean he can't put the ball on the floor. He has a quick trigger from 3 and isn't afraid to let it fly, as we saw with that random 50-point game he dropped on the Magic. And with another year under his belt, he's going to be a significant piece for the Pistons to be successful this season. Saddiq Bey shot 38% from 3 last season on catch and shoot threes, so best believe there will be more opportunities for him this upcoming season, and he will show the same consistency. Now down low, they got LeBron's biggest op in Isaiah Stewart, and he is your traditional big, cuts to the rim off pick and rolls, a lob threat, rim protector, and great rebounder. But what I love about him is that he plays with a lot of intensity and energy. Isaiah Stewart is one of those guys that plays like he got that dog in him, you know what I'm saying? He won't let anyone back him down. But this off season, he has been in the lab working on his jumper non-stop. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time to stop leaving Isaiah Stewart open beyond the arc, because he is strapped up up. He got that thing on him. Yes, he can shoot now, and he showed that in Summer League, where in a lot of games he was shooting 75% from 3 on about 4 attempts. And that's impressive coming from a guy who only took 0.63 attempts last year. I expect to see Isaiah Stewart have the best year of his career next season. So, the Pistons traded for Jalen DUREN in this year's draft just to add to their elite young core. DUREN is similar to Isaiah Stewart, but his offensive game is more refined and well-rounded. He is pretty comfortable sizing up his defender and hitting a mid-range jumper. He's also a pretty dominant post presence, good footwork, a great lob threat, and even a better rim protector than Stewart, as he is bigger and longer. We may even see them both on the court at the same time, Stewart at the 4 and DUREN at the 5, depending on the game plan. And many forget that Jalen DUREN was the #1 ranked player coming out of high school, so expect to see why these NBA scouts thought so highly of him this year. And speaking of bigs, let's not forget about Marvin Bagley, who I think we can all now agree is incredibly talented, but was drafted way too high. Although things didn't work out in Sacramento, he found a home in Detroit, and I think this may be the best situation for him. Now he can play under a coach that trusts him and gives him the freedom to just play his game around a bunch of young guys that just want to hoop for real. There is no pressure on him anymore, and I'm glad the Pistons made the decision to bring him back. That's just another weapon of talented bigs to add to their arsenal. Now, adding Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel just ensures the fact that Killian Hayes won't be touching the ball. Let's be honest, we don't want to see that shit. But that also solidifies a veteran presence in the locker room to keep the young guys at ease through wins and losses. Last season, Nerlens Noel struggled to stay on the court for the Knicks as he continued to deal with knee injuries throughout the year. But like I said, the year before, he was on BT bad time, and when it came to defense, he was top 3 in defensive rating in the 2020-21 season. And if he can stay healthy, he can provide valuable minutes for the Pistons. And Alec Burks, man, I feel some type of way that the Knicks let him go. He's the type of guy that can heat up at any moment. Once he is in rhythm, it's game over. He shot 40% from 3 the last 3 years of his career, and he will bring the same consistency to the Pistons. This is going to be a huge year for the Detroit Pistons. This team as a collective has an insane amount of talent on their roster, and I believe they will take a leap this year and be a playing team at worst. Going forward, we are looking at a top 5 seed that will dominate the East for the next decade. And if the basketball gods are nice enough, we will get a Toronto Raptors versus Detroit Pistons in the playoffs, and my boy Dwayne Casey can get it back in blood. But make sure y'all buy stock in the Detroit Pistons because them boys is going up. With that being said, guys, let me know what y'all think about the Pistons and what their ceiling is going forward. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next video.